hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Eckler is incredibly dangerous and incredibly talented. Mike Williams is a good deep ball guy, but like nobody in that receiving core really terrifies you. It's just Herbert is just is an assassin at quarterback. He will
Okay.
pick you apart. But also on the other side, Derek Carr lost you the game. Period.
Yeah.
Derek Carr
Yeah.
lost you the game.
Absolutely.
The guy who is incredibly accurate, who is still, even after, because it's just week 1, who is criminally underrated as a quarterback, lost you the game.
Yeah.
And also, I think also this game falls on Josh McDaniels. And that's okay because it's growing pains as this is like his real first run as a head coach. I know he's tried it before, but this is
Right.
like his really like, nah, this is you. This is you. They gave him the weapons. They gave him what he needs to be successful. Now he has to make it happen. Now, when Devontae Adams scored in that touchdown, and then you guys had to run the 2-point conversion, why would you run the exact same play?
Yo, look,
that
man.
was the craziest. That was the dumbest thing I ever saw. I was like, you ran the exact same play.
Look, I'm trying to be calm and easy. Like, obviously, you know, I watch a lot of football, like high school through the NFL, and I very rarely get mad at games, right? The only time I literally got mad, like you watch a bunch of football with me, you know, majority of the time, whether it's my team or not, I point out the good plays, I point out the bad ones. But when Derek Carr threw that drag route, he literally threw it like somebody on the first day of Pop Warner, right? Not only did he throw it to the back of the receiver and it got picked, it got undercut. I'm pretty sure the corner could have literally walked and picked that ball off. Yeah, that's why I was upset with the way that he played. I thought the rest of the team played pretty good. Offensive line is going to be a struggle all year long. Luckily for the Raiders, they don't have to play Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack every week. They do have to play them again, but not every week. And we do have some fierce pass rushers coming up. But at the same time, I think the Raiders will be okay. So, with that said, let's jump into this next game we're talking about. And obviously, it was the Monday night, thriller? I don't know, because some people said it wasn't going to be a thriller. I think it turned out to be a thriller. And we are, of course, talking about Russell Wilson making his return to Seattle as now a member of the Denver Broncos. And look, man, a lot of people said that this game was going to be that the Broncos were just going to wash them, right? Wilson, you got Javonte Williams, you got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. The Broncos got talent, man. I know a lot of people saying they got the 4th worst offense, even though they think Wilson's a better quarterback than Carr. They think they got the 4th worst offense in the league. I don't know, man. They got some talent on their offensive line is pretty damn good too. I want to know who's more to blame, of course, because as you know, the Seahawks game came down to the very end, and obviously it was probably the worst clock management I think I've ever seen in my life. I want to know, man, was this more about Nathaniel Hackett blowing the game in terms of clock management? Is it the blame more on Coach Hackett, or is it blame more on Russell Wilson?
The blame was on both, but I definitely Nathaniel Hackett for sure. For sure. Why? Because one, you wait that long to call a timeout.
Right.
You waited that long to call a timeout. And 2, it's 4th and 5.
Yep.
You have Russell Wilson in this building. You're going against a defense without Bobby Wagner.
Right.
Without Jamal Adams.
Right.
On a 4th and 5, a manageable 4th and 5. You chose kicking a 64-yard field goal over going for it with the weapons that you just got, with a guy you just paid $246 million, who's a star in this league. That is the worst decision. One of the worst decisions I have seen in a very long time. Like,
hey,
at first I was scared. Like, I was like, are you trying to lose your job week 1? Why? What were you thinking? Like,
look, man,
64 yards.
Look, obviously, obviously part of it falls on Nathaniel Hackett, right? He is the head coach. The buck stops with him. However, as somebody who supported Russell Wilson all these years and watched plenty Seahawks games, this is not so much like, although yes, he completed a lot of fourth quarter comebacks and everything, right? I think the second most to Stafford since he's actually been in the league. But we've also seen some horrible time management on the part of Russell Wilson. And last night was one of them. First off, we can just start by him literally taking forever to get these plays in. And they break the huddle with 16 seconds, but he wants to stand at the line and manipulate. And that's what all quarterbacks do, especially nowadays. Obviously, back in the day, we used to call it the Peyton Manning, right? But he's literally snapping the ball with 0 seconds. He has 3 delay of game penalties. That's like unheard of. 3 delay of game penalties. I can't even believe that. Like, how do you have 3? And I get it. It's week 1. Everybody, I mean, we keep saying it to this point is ad nauseum. But Russell, I'm going to put the blame on Russell Wilson because look how many third downs they didn't convert. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and goal from the 1 fumble, 2nd and goal from fumble. You know what I mean? So look, obviously Hackett probably should have put the ball in the hands of the $200 million quarterback, 250 or whatever that number is. But at the same time, man, if we're being completely honest, I don't know if I would have trusted Russell Wilson in that particular game. That Seattle defense was hitting, man. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
The Broncos had one play. It was like a type of inside toss that they ran with Williams, and he was getting yards, right? But when it came back to just handing a ball off like that, Seattle was playing, man. I don't know if they were just extra juice because obviously they're playing Wilson, or if they're gonna be able to make a little bit of noise in terms of like upsetting teams this year. But I thought Geno Smith played pretty well, especially in the first half. The second half he kind of tailed off, but that's to be expected. Russell Wilson to me played just okay. I don't think he played great by any means. So as for a guy who usually hits the deep ball, I thought actually he was horrible throwing the deep ball. Because even the touchdown to Judy was severely underthrown. It probably should have been picked if we're being completely honest.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
So with that said, I got a question for you, man. A lot of people have been talking about this AFC West all year, all off season long, right? I want to know your thoughts. Who do you have winning the AFC West?
Oh, one of the toughest questions. Who do I have winning the AFC West? If I had to pick right now, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay.
And I don't want to. It's just because I think it's just going to take a little too long for the Raiders to figure it out.
Right.
Because I don't think the problem offensively is I feel like you guys are way too much in Devontae Adams' land to where it's like, well, what about Hunter Renfrow? You still have to scheme him open because he's going to be your number 2. You have to scheme your number 2 receiver open just as much as you scheme your number 1 receiver open, or it's not going to work.
Right.
So I think, I think that's going to be tough for you guys for a little while. But I think, obviously, I think you guys are going to make the playoffs? Yes, I do. The Broncos, I don't got the Broncos going to the playoffs. Unlike others, I don't got I'm not a believer in their offense. Like, I love Javonte Williams. I'm not a believer in their offense, I'm not a believer in their scheme.
Okay.
I don't like the play call. I don't like the play calling at all. Cortland Sutton's always hurt. Good talented receiver, always hurt. Jerry Jeudy, I think he's going to be a great receiver too. You don't know. He's still trying to prove himself. They have nobody who's like immaculate, immediate separation.
Sure.
They have nobody who's like 100% unguardable on that team. Right. And I think Russell's and has Russell done it before? You can say that, but let's be real here. We all knew Doug Baldwin could ball. We knew Tyler Lockett could ball. Right. DK Metcalf is a star. So, like, we're not going to act like Russell, like, those receivers are anywhere near any of those guys. So I think they're going to struggle, but I think they're going to be able to get it done and figure it out. But also with that being said, I guess I got to go with the Chargers, even though I don't believe the Chargers is going to get hit with the injury bug like they do every single year.
Going back to LT, right?
Yep, Joey Bosa, injury prone. Khalil Mack, injury prone. Andre Eckler, Austin Eckler, injury prone.
Right.
Keenan Allen, injured right now. Like, they're always injury prone. So, like, but if I had, like, you go with the Chiefs is the obvious answer, but I'm gonna switch it up and go with the Chargers.
Right. Real quick to this chat, shout out to Nate Butler watching. Appreciate it, bro. Shout out to Tashay. Don't really know much about sports. Just came to say you guys kind of look like twins.
Oh God.
If that's the case, then I'm the better looking twin. But appreciate that, sis.
We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie.
It's like this, man. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Raiders, so obviously AFC West is very important to me. But look, man, I think all four teams are actually going to be really good this year. I think the Broncos defense is really good, even though Geno kind of picked them apart in the first half. I think the Chargers are going to be really good. I think the Raiders offense is going to be really good. I'm still a little worried about the defense. You know what I mean? I'm not too familiar with Pat Graham. I know he's with the Giants. And I went back and watched a lot of their games to see like what's his philosophy, you know, like we know what we're gonna get with Mike Tomlin coach teams, right? So I want to see what this Raider team is, new coach and new everything. This partially the reason why I wanted to kind of hold on to Bisaccia, because obviously I know that was Gruden's team, but Rich kind of was we were on a downhill slide when the whole thing with Gruden happened, and somehow we made the playoffs. So absolutely. I do want to know what happens with the Raiders going forward. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. That we all know the Chiefs are going to be excellent. Patrick Mahomes, he's that dude. There's things he can improve on, but hell, there's things Tom Brady can improve on, right? Like Mahomes is great. Andy Reid is a phenomenal play caller. Dudes be running wide the hell open. I can't even explain it with how he calls these plays and all these touchdowns just wide open. And then you got Mahomes who can thread the needle, right? And Herbert is that dude, man. Like he might have the strongest arm I've ever seen between him, Allen, Rodgers, and Mahomes. Like, that dude, he threw a pass to Gerald Everett in the game where Gerald Everett kind of just like boxed the dude out and backed up for a touchdown. And only like certain guys can make that throw. Like Derek Carr is much alone. He can't make that throw, right? And the velocity on the way Herbert throws the football is insane. So if I had to pick right now, I'm going to go Kansas City only because I think they've done it before, right? The odd part about it, even though Herbert's only going into his third year, his second year fully as a starter, even though he played a lot of his rookie year, if you think about it, Mahomes at this point, and I'm not 100% sure, so fact check me, anybody who's watching this, I'm pretty sure Mahomes might have played damn near just as many playoff games as Russell Wilson, like at this point.
You know, might have at this point,
right? Like you go to the AFC Championship every single year as a starter. That's a lot of playoff games so far. Now, again, Russell Wilson might have played more, but Mahomes is obviously he's been there, done that. I'm sure the divisional round to him feels a lot like week 2. Whereas, like for somebody like Herbert, the divisional round is like it's unseen land. Like you never actually he's never been there before. Derek Carr has only been to the wild card round. Obviously, in 2016 he was hurt when they went to the playoffs. So obviously he's never been past the wild card round. Wilson is the only one with the experience, but the rest of his team, including his coach, does not. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. I'm probably going to go Chiefs. We'll talk next week about we'll rank the divisions and everything. Real quick before we get out of here, man, appreciate to everybody who checked this out, man. I know this is like last minute and everything, but we'll be back next week. The message on the bottom is true. If you want to be on, just let me know, man. Hit me up. Just make sure you know what you're talking about. Look, man, I want to talk about Lamar Jackson real quick before we get out of here. Lamar Jackson, this contract. What's your thoughts? Obviously, he balled out. They were playing the Jets. He did his thing against the Jets. We know Lamar Jackson is phenomenal quarterback. What's your thoughts on this whole contract?
I'm gonna quote his contract with by a lyric that J. Cole said on KOD. We love to see a black man get paid. Absolutely. 250 million fully guaranteed is unheard of, but somehow Deshaun Watson reset the market.
of all players, right? And not that from a talent wise, he deserves it, but we know why I said that.
But and what I mean by that also is that like he got it from hopefully somebody's not gonna like this, but one of the dumbest organizations of all time in the Cleveland Browns. Okay,
right?
They sacrificed their soul for Deshaun Watson. They just sacrificed their draft picks,
Right?
their salary cap for the next like 5 years. Foolish to give him a fully guaranteed contract was criminal. It was just dumb.
Right.
But they did it. So, and I see why Lamar's like, oh nah, let me get that money if they're giving out a fully guaranteed contract. I see why he wants to do it.
Absolutely.
I understand, but I think him playing. I think he's playing this year because I don't think he's gonna play next year. I honestly don't think if he don't get this contract, he's not playing next year. And so I think that's gonna be tough for him.
Look, man, I think the Ravens should pay Lamar Jackson. I think he's earned it. Watson did even. It's not like Watson's a 2-time champ. It's not like Watson is an MVP, even though he is really good at playing quarterback. But Lamar Jackson is an MVP. I think Baltimore should pay him, and I think they will. I think they're playing hardball with him mainly because I think he's representing himself, which is kind of unheard of when we're talking big money contracts. You know what I mean? He's not the first player to ever represent himself, but in terms of people who making this significant NFL money, he is. And I think, I don't think it's a mistake. I see a lot of people saying it's a mistake, but look, man, at the end of the day, he's a grown man. He knows he wants what he wants, right? I think Baltimore should proceed with caution because I do think they can lose him. And now I know they can franchise tag him, right? So it's not like he's going anywhere next year or even the year after. But after that, Lamar Jackson, he's going to make $45 million next year if he plays under the franchise tag. And then after that, that's only going up. So that next year is going to be, I think it's somewhere between 49 and 52. If he can do that, then that's good money. And then after that, he's a free agent. He get a huge contract. At that point, we're going into 2025. He could have a huge contract. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I know Baltimore fans probably hoping that they can hold on to him. I think they will. I just think they're playing hardball right now, which I don't like because obviously if he gets hurt, it's kind of, you know what I mean?
But I hope they don't. That's my division. I hope they don't.
Right. I'm sure you do.
I hope they don't. That's my division. Hey, hold out, Lamar. Right. Hold out.
Right. Yo, so before we get out of here, man, so we got some games as we're going into week 2. I just want to get your predictions on this, and of course we'll recap it next week, next Tuesday, as always, guys. Next Tuesday around 7:00. So Chargers, Chiefs, who you got?
Where are they playing?
In Kansas City.
I got Kansas City.
All right, Kansas City over the Chargers. All right, I'm gonna let you pick your home base team. So Patriots, Steelers at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Come on now.
All right, so I'm gonna go Chargers over the Chiefs. I think the Chargers are gonna get it to a hot start. It's whether they can maintain it. I think they're gonna beat the Chiefs. I'm actually gonna go Steelers over the Patriots. I'm not really too high on the Patriots. I know there's some Patriots fans watching right now. You probably don't want to hear that.
Man, Mac Jones is already hurt, so we gonna make him pay for that.
But I do think the Patriots need to figure out their offense. So next up we got. Let's go with Dolphins versus Baltimore. Obviously, we just talked about Lamar Jackson. Miami's defense looked incredible. We'll see what Tua does with, obviously, the track stars he got as receivers. What do you got? Miami,
is it in Miami?
Baltimore.
Is it in Miami?
In Baltimore.
I still got Miami because Devin Duvernay is not a number one guy. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 more games, and then we out here. Buccaneers, Tom Brady and the crew at New Orleans, who just had a crazy comeback win.
I got Tom. I got the Bucks. I'm not a Jameis Winston guy. I'm just not.
Okay. And last but not least, so with that, I'm actually going to Saints, and I guess it'd be an upset, even though the Saints always beat the Buccaneers. I think technically still an upset. Obviously the last game we'll talk about, and this one is actually going into the year. I don't see a lot of people thinking it was a big game, but I think this is going to be a huge game, actually. Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Woo! I got Philly. I I think I love what the Vikings are doing, how they're feeding my guy Justin Jefferson the ball now.
Right.
But something about that defense, once that defense clicks and gets it together, they're going to be tough to stop. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna rock with the Eagles with that inside front.
Absolutely. Yo, I'm gonna go with probably Minnesota. I think right now Danielle Hunter is a monster. I watched him play that game, man.
Yeah.
And Zadarius Smith as well, of course. He terrorized Aaron Rodgers. Like, I think that was just a little something extra on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was just
for Aaron. But and they dismantled the Packers. But yo, I'm gonna go Minnesota in a close one. But yo, appreciate you guys checking out Guarding Gridiron. I know for this week only the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live is not synced, so I can't pull the comments from both onto the screen. Next week that will be fixed. Appreciate y'all every week, every Tuesday at 7:00, unless otherwise noted. Have a bunch of guests on again. A lot of people reached out to me. I have messages now that I see popping up on my phone. Reach out to me to be on the show. We'll get you on. We'll make sure you're all set up to go with a mic and everything. Appreciate Devontae for coming on the very first episode. Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, you can always find me at Devontae Forever, pretty much on anything. Go Steelers, live life, eat, sleep, and breathe Steelers.
Yo, Steelers is trash. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all checking out Guarding Gridiron podcast. I'm gonna catch you guys next week. Peace.